But that's also how the media's try to define you too, as a character in a novelty act, somebody who is just trying to bring out some radical ideas and maybe gain some notoriety and stuff like that. So is it frustrating to kind of be lumped with all of these other people who may not be taking the effort as seriously as that you want to be taking it?
It is a little frustrating, but I've heard various different things from the media. If I wanted the publicity, I'd release my client list and we'd be talking about that for 3 years. It would be much more interesting. People, by and large, aren't that interested in politics. I spoke today at Nassau Community College for 200 students, maybe 10 of which were planning on voting.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was really depressing. They see no point in voting. They don't really, they're young. They just don't understand the importance of using their voice, which is what I spent like a good hour talking about. So it was really depressing, actually. But in terms of, what's going to be said about me has already been said. People can call me names. People can do anything. As long as they're listening to my overall message, and that's really what's important. I think all the minor party candidates are, with the exception maybe of McMillan, are really trying to do something good, and that's, why they're running.
Yeah.
So it's important you take the Green Party. It's important he has a very clear stance on the environment, which is something might get lost a little bit in this electoral cycle because it's not as big of a priority.
Right.
When, it's much like finance. When you're up, you're up. Nobody cares where, as long as the money's up and you're making half 50% or whatever it is when the market was really up. But when you're down, everybody's nitpicking. Why'd you make that trade? Why'd you do that? It's the same in this environment. Everybody's nitpicking everything, but it brings our problems to light, and we need to talk about them now that they're...
Now, there's a future for you if, as maybe the head of this party, or even the figurehead of this party, if they get to the 50,000 votes and you attain ballot status. But what becomes to Kristin Davis if you don't get the 50,000? Where do you move on from here? And do you try
defeat
again?
Defeat is not an option. Defeat is not an option. I will not even... My mind hasn't even gone into we're not going to get it because... One, I practice the positive attraction, the law of attraction, and so I think positively. But I feel that this is the path that I was supposed to go down because why else did I get arrested? Why else did all of this stuff happen?
Right.
It brought me to where I'm at, and that's why I'm actually thankful for that learning experience. And so I can't imagine that we're not. It doesn't even.
But at the same regard, you strike me as somebody who has a game plan and is not going to wake up Wednesday morning and say, "Oh my God, I don't have anything going on." And when I try to apply for jobs, I get hit with the felony and I get hit with the credit report and stuff like that. I mean,
even if we don't get this party, I will continue. I will find a way to continue fighting for many of these causes, and whether that means to create a nonprofit to. Go into Albany to pass a marriage equality bill, or what that means, I'll continue fighting for these causes. But having the ballot spot is a much more powerful vehicle to do so.
Sure.
So, and I enjoy being the face of the party because people need to see. I mean, look, if I was strong enough to do 4 months in Rikers Island, I am most definitely strong enough to spend 4 years fighting for this cause if we have that ballot spot. I'm definitely the person. If I can go through that, I can go through anything. So I can definitely continue fighting for this. I don't think there's anybody that's going to fight harder for it than me.
Yeah. Something that just jumped into my mind, as a person who's been convicted of felony, can you actually vote for yourself?
Yes, I can. That's how I'm able to run for office, is because our Constitution will not retain your voting rights if you're on parole. I'm only on probation. So it's sort of the gray area, but I maintain my voting rights, which allows me to run for office. Only state office, not federal. I could never run for president. Not that I would want to.
I was going to say, do you have any ambition to go any higher than governor?
No.
Could you see yourself running for state assembly or senate in the future? Maybe... I don't want to say aiming a little lower because your ambitions are laudable, but...
it depends on where the need is and where the best spot to really advocate for these particular issues. And I won't say that we're limited to these issues because this is a very libertarian-based agenda, and should something else come up that makes... that needs to be addressed, I'm going to take that issue on too, as long as it goes in with the libertarian stance. So
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about Mayor Graham's role in this campaign. What he says is one thing, but I wanted to hear it straight from you. I mean, what kind of role has he played? How instrumental has he been in figuring out who you are and what you are as a candidate?
Well, Mayor Graham approached, Mayor Graham wrote of my candidacy before I met him on his blog.
Yeah.
But he, of course, like everyone else, didn't know me, had a notion of who, he thought I might be based on the media he's probably read. I actually reached out to him and thanked him for his blog posts, and we started a dialogue. And I did his radio show, and he afterwards said, "I'm very impressed. You weren't at all what I expected." And
because people expect you to be a twit, right?
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, gosh, I couldn't have started a recession-proof industry where women always make the most amount of money because it's a good business idea. I mean, God forbid that was recession-proof business was a smart idea. And he had his idea, his notion, and once we got past that, he understood the importance of having another political party to advocate for these causes, and one that's not corrupt. And I actually approached him to be my lieutenant governor, to which he said no. But that's okay. I don't hold it against him. And then he said, "But I recognize that you're not familiar with upstate issues. If you have any questions, you can feel free to call me." And we sort of developed from there. Because I'm downstate,
sure.
And it's being so removed, it's difficult to know what's going on up here. So he's been very instrumental in providing the advice.
So if you hear something that you've never heard before, some issue that's maybe even unique to upstate, do you give him a ring and say?
Sure,
okay.
Most definitely, and he's become, he's taken a role. I mean, he's pro-freedom, and that's sort of where we all find the commonality, is that, we believe in our Constitution, we believe in the inalienable rights that were given under our Constitution, and we believe in fighting for them. And so we all kind of find common ground in that, and my main strategist is Roger Stone. Roger Stone and Mayor Graham have become friends, and, we'll talk, and he's helped us. Mayor Graham has attended some of the downstate events to show his support, which means a lot. It means a lot to a minor party candidate, and especially to a candidate myself, to say, we've actually got some support from some people, and they believe in what we're doing, and they understand why it's important.
Yeah.